It's showtime, folks. Welcome in, Chase and Big Joe, 1025, 1063 The Game. We are live today at the Renaissance Hotel, the Predators Golden Hall, going to be taking place. They're lunching today, and they didn't invite us. We kind of bullied our way.
We did,
We
man.
just said, "Hey, we're gonna set up over here," and they were like, "Okay."
Yep. And they were like, "You got a problem? We're going to fight you."
Basically, yeah. That's actually not how it went down, but good to be here. Excited about it. To see Pecorine, Shea Weber, and of course, longtime general manager David Poyle, as they have a couple of days of celebration, including today and then tomorrow night at the game against the Blackhawks. Ryan O'Reilly going to join us here in just a few minutes after a big win against the Vegas Golden Knights last night.
How cool is it they get the franchise gets their 1,000th victory, and their head coach was the guy that scored their very first goal. I mean, that's
true.
Andrew Burnett scored their first goal back in October of 1998. And last night they beat the Vegas Golden Knights to get win number 1,000.
Yeah, it's
Pretty cool.
Very, very cool. And, they've definitely been playing better as of late. So we'll talk to Ryan about that. He had the empty net goal to seal things against the Vegas Golden Knights. GM search 2025 continues for the Tennessee Titans. They've had a couple of in-person interviews. So I have to think, I kind of think by the end of the week we'll have a guy.
Did the girl from Cleveland not make the cut? I don't know.
I'm going to be honest. I've kind of lost track because they interviewed like 75 people.
Right. Until you make an announcement, then I'll care. All these nameless, faceless people, I don't care.
Yeah.
Until they get here. I don't care if that some dude from Indy or the Jets or Raleigh McKenzie. I don't know. Until
Reggie
you make a
McKenzie.
hiring. Is it Reggie? His brother's Raleigh. Okay.
Don't worry, Joe. I said Reggie Jackson over the weekend.
Well, Raleigh and
you
Reggie
really?
McKenzie.
I did. I was like, Reggie. I was like, oh, wait, that's wrong, Reggie.
Yeah, they both played at Tennessee, and they're both great football minds. I don't know where it stands. Just when you hire, let me know. I really do not care that you're interviewing the assistant pro personnel director of the XFL team. I don't care till you get somebody in there. Then I'll care. Then we'll figure out what goes on. Because, again, you're hiring a chief scout. You're not hiring a GM. Let's stop the nonsense.
Right. I agree with you. I totally agree with you. But we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. And then, once they get the general manager in place, then you can truly turn all attention to the draft.
Yeah.
What they're going to do there. And, what's funny is we kind of started it yesterday as the great Pete Weber walks into the Renaissance Hotel. He's here to do some play-by-play of our show, which should be fun. But what I find interesting is we started talking about the whole Dion thing on our show yesterday.
Right.
And, I mean, it has blown up in the 24 hours of everybody having that what if he does go to Dallas and then they want the number one pick and they want Shedeur and Dak. And I think a majority of people would be excited about Dak Prescott in Nashville.
I mean, it's a quarterback that's won some big games. So why not do all that? My thing is, if Jerry doesn't take Dion, who's the other name out there? Who do you take?
Yeah, I mean, does Ben Johnson want to go to Dallas?
He ain't hiring Ben Johnson.
I don't think so either.
He ain't hiring a coordinator that – no, he ain't doing that.
Okay, so the one that I could possibly see him going after is Pete Carroll,
who interviewed
Chicago.
Yeah.
I think McCarthy ends up in Chicago. Now that McCarthy's available, that just seems like something that the Bears would do.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's Dion, but I mean, that just put Jerry back on top again. And the merchandise, look, Jerry's about the money. We know this. Merchandise sales be off the chart. More cowboy stuff be flying off the shelves. I think Dion is a perfect fit there. And once that happens, then let the dominoes fall.
Yeah, 100%. So it's going to be fascinating. And the more I think about this, Joe, and I said this last year.
Say it, pal.
But, like, the Titans are in a very, very good position. And now I don't put anything past them, but I find it very difficult that they can screw this up.
It's an embarrassing position because you're the number one.
Well,
you're the worst team.
Right. But you have to look at it from a positive now because it is what it is. The season went the way it went.
Look, I'm all on board the Aaron Rodgers train. I know Paul Kuharsky hates it, and I understand that. But there's a connection between Brinker and Aaron Rodgers. the Packers days. I'm telling you.
I know.
So you bring him here for 2 years. You say, look, here's how it's going to be. The fan base would like it. Titans fans, I don't want him. Yeah, you want him here. And then get a quarterback. And then there 1 or 2 years, boom, and go for it. There's no more looking 3 or 4 years down the road. I mean, football is now. You want to win now. Right? So Rodgers brings you in here. There's a little stability. He's psychotic, which would be fun to do that. But same time, bring him in here, let him see what he can do, gobble up draft picks, and let's have some fun with it. If you're going to lose, let's have fun. Let's do things you've never done before. Let's have fun and do this. So that's why I want Rodgers here.
Yeah, well, and I get that. But people keep bringing up Dak Prescott.
Bill Wickett from Nashville
Bill
Predators.
Wickett is here from the Nashville Predators, one of our favorites.
Yep.
People keep bringing up Dak Prescott in a no-trade clause. I don't think it's necessarily a no-trade clause that he has. I mean, he does, but the big thing is Dallas would have to eat like a very, very large dead cap hit by trading him. But I could see Jerry, waiving that. Now, at the same time, Dak would have some say in this. So if they go to him and go, hey, we want to trade you to Tennessee, he can say no. So that could certainly put that could hold it up.
No trade clauses, man.
I know, but it's a part of it. Best teams in hockey. Ryan, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
We're doing fantastic. Win number 1,000 for the franchise. And I got to say, watching the game Saturday, I know you guys didn't get the results you wanted, but I thought you played well. And I felt like that translated into last night, especially at the start, a very strong start for you guys. And you were able to take that throughout the game, even though Vegas battled back, through stages of the game. How did you feel like the overall play was in the last couple of games?
Yeah, it's been good. That Washington game, I thought, we talked about it. We, did a lot of good things. We, outplayed them for probably 50 minutes, and then, we let them kind of hang around. We didn't, we needed a couple timely goals that we didn't get, and next, we finished the game. Everyone's disappointed, but we outchanced them. We had more possession than them, and it's tough. So that's just the way the game goes sometimes. You can do a lot of, outplay a team and lose, and that's what happened. And, last night, I think we, we're starting to find this identity and being hard to play against, especially at home too. We're making it a difficult building. I think, again, after the first 2 periods, I think, 10 shots that we've given up. And, that's being hard to play against. And that's, it's fun. And it was nice to get some early goals as well. But, at times they made a push back. And again, too, that's one of the best, teams in the league. But, we hung on. Everyone kept working. No one kind of, broke in the sense. And we get a big win against a good hockey team.
It's well documented. We know you guys have not been satisfied with the way the season has gone to this point. But you played on a team that was in a similar position that ended up winning the Stanley Cup. You know how this league works, that things can change at the drop of the hat. So when you guys are looking at the rest of the season as a whole, and there's noise out there about a 2% chance of making the playoffs, does it almost motivate you even more to just go, hey, we can't control that. Let's control what we can control and just go out there and play hockey. And it almost takes some of that pressure off. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, no, for sure it is. Like you kind of said, I think we've all been disappointed, expected to be in a much different position. And I think now we, like you said, let's just control what we can control. Let's go out and let's, just win the next game. Let's go out there, leaving out their plate like this is the only game that matters. And you can see by doing that, again, still we want more results, but we're feeling better about our game. There's a sense in the room, everyone's working together, and momentum's a dangerous thing in this game. And if we can find a way to get that and throw a few together and throw a bunch together, it's gonna, we're gonna try to tiptoe, crawl our way back into this. But that mindset of just, hey, if we're winning the next game, we're gonna be tough to play against. We're gonna give you nothing, and we keep building it from there.
In fairness of obviously different team, different players, different organizations, but do you reference, your time in St. Louis and that year in particular in which, you guys were out of it at one point and then ended up winning the whole thing. Do you kind of look back on that and think of some things that took place that you can apply here?
Yeah, I think when I look back at that year, I think for myself was, much more disappointed and and maybe a little more quieter and not sure. I think after going through it, I think it's kind of helped understand that, hey, there's always a chance. This game works in crazy ways, and I feel it kind of helps me kind of have confidence that, hey, we're never out of the fight, and it helps me kind of be more vocal in that. And I try not to be, bring up the past too much and be like, oh, when we won,
Sure.
this is what happened, and because every team is different. But I know for myself, having been through that situation, know how frustrating it was. I know that, hey, I can draw light to that and kind of help be a voice of, us sticking with it and keep delivering the message that our coaching staff delivering of just the way we play. And so it, I think helps me, having been through that, to know that, hey, this is possible, and don't quit, don't quit or have guys give up on each other. Keep sticking with it.
We're talking to Ryan O'Reilly on the Chasing Big Joe show. And Ryan, I asked Philip Forsberg this last week, the fine line between mad and being frustrated. Is there a fine line, and is it good to be one or the other?
I would always think, mad, I think, is a little bit more engaged. You're more engaged what you're doing. Like, frustrated is a little bit, I think, a little more outcome driven, if that makes sense. So it
Yes.
is kind of a fine line where you can play with that edge, play mad against the other team and take it out on them. I think is a much better way than being just frustrated because, things aren't going your way. And I think that makes sense, but
Yeah, no, it does. It does. And Barry Trotz told us years ago he said one of the most frustrating things to play in hockey against a team that's a desperate hockey team. I don't think you guys have hit the desperate level, but is that true? I mean, when you play a team that's just like, look, we got nothing to play for, we're going to go out there and give it all we got, is that a tough team to go up against?
Absolutely it is. And yeah, that's what we've been feeling. Like, it's, again, a lot of disappointment, but over this last little bit, it's like, like you said, who cares what this, the standings say? And we're going to go out there and just make it miserable on the other teams. No matter we're playing, the Golden Knights, the Capitals, or anyone. We're just going to be hard to play against and keep fighting.
That last night, the 5-3 win over Vegas, one of the top teams in hockey, that had to feel good, right? I mean, you guys took it to them. You played hard to get the early lead. You held on. That had to feel good after the game, right?
Oh yeah, no, it felt really good, especially get some early goals. And those first two periods, I thought we, for the most part of the game, we had the puck. Our possession was great. Everyone was working and just being hard to play against. And we get into the third. Obviously, they're a great team. They're going to make their push, but we hung on and got a big win. And it's nice to see. When you go up against the best team in the league, that we can beat them, and we can. We can play with anyone in this league, and we have to kind of just keep proving that each night.
Ryan O'Reilly is with us here on the Chasing Big Joe show. Now, I always wonder this, as I look at the goal totals right now, Steven and Jonathan are at 14. Stammer had a good night last night. You have the empty netter. You're at 13, and Phil's at 12. Do you guys have a steak dinner on the line of who gets the most goals, or are you kind of just pushing each other right now?
No, we're pushing each other. We, as a group, we don't have nearly enough, so we're pushing it. We're trying to get everyone to put the puck in the net. If we can do that, everyone can, raise their level and put the puck in the net more. It's only going to give us a better chance to win. But no, you want it to be competitive with guys. You want guys to, want to lead the team in scoring or points, and you have that. It's a good, healthy, competitiveness thing that is important. But we'll take any goals from anyone right now.
But before we let you go, obviously today and tomorrow, a big for the organization is the Golden Hall will make its debut. David Poile, who's been the architect here for a long time, is the first GM, and then two guys that you had to battle against in Shea Weber and Pekka Rinne going in there. I know it's special, for the guys in the room that that played with those guys and played under David Poyle, and also somebody like you that played against them. How cool is it going to be?
Yeah, it's going to be a special afternoon. It's obviously, like you said, I had a chance to play with Shea at World Cup for a bit, and just got to know him through that. An amazing guy, but playing against him just the competitor he was. You'd see him in the corner, and you'd absolutely just throw you around. And his shot, when he'd wind up, you're just praying it doesn't hit you because you're going to break a bone or something if he does. But just an incredible competitor. And then Pex too. I was trying to think about it, but I don't think I ever scored on Pex, and that's I know I wish I had, because obviously he's one of the greatest goalies I think of all time, and two just amazing players that not only great for the game of hockey but for the city. I think they're two people that represented the city so well and made it into kind of the hockey town that it is now.
Yeah, for sure. Ryan, always appreciate the time, and best of luck here in the next few games. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Have a good rest of your day.
Yeah, you too. Ryan O'Reilly joining us here on the program as they got a stretch of home games. They're back at it tomorrow night against the Chicago Blackhawks at Bridgestone Arena, continuing a 5-game homestand, their longest homestand of the year.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Oh,
according
wow.
to Max Hers. And I listen to Max Hers.
I love Max Hers. That was a fun game last night.
It was.
You got the early lead. They punched him around, moved him around. I still think a team needs about 5 to 6 goons.
Yeah.
Guys who don't care about the spotlight and get 8 minutes, but those 8 minutes on the ice, you don't forget that they're on the ice, that just go out there and pound your face in.
Just give me 8 minutes.
That's
That's all we need. Just give me 8 minutes.
And that's what she said. Shut up.
I just set it up for you. We're live today at the Renaissance Hotel, the Predators Golden Hall. We will be joined at some point, hopefully by David Poyle, Pecorine, Shea Weber, all of those guys, or security. Who knows? We'll continue the discussion. John McClain coming up at the bottom of the hour. A lot of you have weighed in on the Dak Prescott thing. We'll get to those texts, 615-737-1025. Our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, is Chasing Big Joe, 1025-1063, the game. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063, the game live today at the Renaissance Hotel. Predators Golden Hall luncheon coming up a little later today, but excited to be here. You can weigh in on our phone and text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. Dr. Crane is back at the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service.
All right, quick question for Chase and Dr. Crane.
Okay.
Overnight, you park your cars outside, right? Like I do. I don't put it in the garage, right,
Yeah, I
Dr.
don't have a
Crane?
garage.
No, I park in the garage.
Oh, okay. Well, this doesn't apply to you. For those who park
I used to park
outside,
outside.
all right. So when you leave in the morning when it's 19 degrees, do you let your car warm up or you just go? I just go. I don't warm up.
So the new car that I got is fancy, that I can actually start it from my phone and set the temperature and everything. So I've been doing that.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good for you, man.
And it de-ices it and everything. So I get in, it's all nice and warm, and my seat warmer's on, so my butt's warm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well,
And then it has, I can do the remote start from the key fob too, but the app's cool because you can set stuff.
well, for us poor folk, I guess we just
But yeah, when I was one of you simpletons, I just got in and went.
I don't do the 10-minute warm up. I just hop in the car.
Sean,
and
what do you
go.
do? Do you just get in and go? He gets in
Yeah.
and go. Sean, our on-site engineer, just gets in and go.
I just don't. I can't go outside, start it, come back out. I know it's against the law, right? You can't start the car and go back in the house. Is that correct? I think I've been told that.
I don't
I
know.
think that's against the law. I think you have to be with your car when it's being warmed up. I think that's the law.
It might be.
If we have one of our esteemed men and women of the Metro Police Department could text in or call in and let us know.
out at Chateau McCabe, I don't think it matters.
You're still in Davidson County, though, pal.
I am,
I'm
but
gonna send a unit out tomorrow, a squad car out tomorrow to make sure with all that. All right,
I'll
I'm just
walk out.
curious.
I'll walk out my front porch, and be like, get off my property. What you doing?
I just don't. For me, it's just I get in the car and go, and I feel like a lot of people are like that, but take off. But if it's a law in Davidson County that you have to be in your car when it's warming up, I think that's correct. So
Yes,
anyway.
in
It's so
multiple
funny.
states, it says that it is considered illegal for the car to be in an idle mode due to an air pollution concern.
So hang on. So then why do all these cars have remote start?
You're in trouble.
I don't know.
I don't care, but like, I mean, like, this is one of those things like radar detectors. Like,
Right.
radar detectors are technically illegal, yet you can go buy it at Walmart.
True. Yep.
Like, I got pulled over one time and had one, and the cop like laughed. He goes, "Dude, you can't have that." I'm like, "Then why can't I get it at Walmart?"
Well, it says here, Chase, there is no national law that is regarding to being against idling for a car, but it could be for a state-by-state situation.
Well, what's the law in Nashville? I think there's a law in Nashville that you can't start your car and then go back in the house in the morning.
What if I never leave the house and I just remote start?
That's a great point. I don't know. Somebody's got to let us know about this, because that's one reason I'm like, I just get in my car and take off. I don't think you're allowed, because I think it's a car theft thing. And if I see you start your car, you go back in the house, I can steal your car. It's something along those lines.
Neil goes, "Looks like I will continue to break the law."
That's good. I don't know.
Yeah, Joe,
But we're
to
not
a
fancy.
Tennessee code 55-8-162, it is stating that you are prohibited of leaving your car running unattended without a keyless entry or remote start.
So Chase is good.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it does. Okay. So
People that
basically,
have
what they're
keys.
saying is, okay. So I'm good.
So it applies to losers like
Because
myself.
like for me, if I remote start it and let's say it it unlocks or whatever, and you jump in it, as soon as you hit the gas pedal, it shuts off.
Yeah.
Unless you have the key fob with you.
Okay. All right. Well,
Because
Yeah,
I believe these
so-
new fancier cars, they can heat your car up without turning on the engine. So that's, I think, the new technology
No,
nowadays.
well, mine the engine turns on, but it, yeah, I mean, like,
okay. All right.
I get it, but I also am like, I think we can. Like, I feel like that's kind of an old school law, because like I get it. Like if you go out and you back in the old days, you actually have to turn the key and then go back in the house, and you're just leaving it sitting there running. And, you can come along and just take off with it.
right.
I get that.
How does an officer give a ticket, though? I mean, he's just driving by. That's like a lot of
Maybe.
work to do to figure that out.
Hair Metal Henry says, I make my wife go start the car and she can't get out till it's warm. I know your wife, and I'm going to say that's some BS right
Be a
there.
man. Make your wife
That
start
is
your car.
that is bull hockey.
He know,
there,
yeah.
here,
She
Mel
makes
Henry.
him.
Yeah,
go
I
out
was
and
about to
start the
say
car.
Laura makes you go start the car.
We love you, Laura.
8970. What a bleepy law. Start that bad boy up and go back inside.
That's what I said, right? But I've read that people get tickets for this.
Hey, this is another good question. We could spend a whole show on
Yeah.
things like this. 3986. Why do they make vehicles that can go 100 miles per hour?
Great. That's like a Stephen Wright question, comedy thing of like speed limit 75. Why you make? Yeah, you're right.
1786. How about keeping your vehicle locked while warming up? Well, I do.
Yeah, I do too.
But if you don't have remote start, it's kind of hard to do that.
So my thing is go out and when it's cold, start it, go back inside for 15 minutes, and then come back out. I do not do that. I get in the car and just go.
Brian, I refuse to listen to you guys about car advice, being that some of you don't believe in using air conditioning in your car when we live in the armpit of the devil in the summertime.
I've never once turned my air conditioning on. He makes a great point. Love you, Brian.
That is so good. All right, well, we probably won't ask John McClain about this, but maybe we will. He will join us coming up next. We're live today at the Renaissance Hotel for the Preds Golden Hall. Chasing Big Joe, presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel, 1025, 1063 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063 The Game. On this Wednesday, we're live at the Renaissance Hotel, the Predators Golden Hall, coming up a little bit later today. But now we continue the football discussion with John McClain. HoustonTexans.com is where you can find his work. John, good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. How are you?
We're doing fantastic. Always enjoy this. Let's start with the news that I don't think anybody was really that surprised about. The New England Patriots have hired Mike Vrabel to be their head coach as he will replace Gerard Mayo after 1 year. Vrabel returns home, so to speak. What do you think about that move, and how successful do you think Vrabel can be with his old team?
I think that Mike went into a perfect situation. He has an owner he knows, an owner who thinks highly of him, an owner who's been very stable throughout his ownership. The fan base wanted him. The media wanted him. He goes in with almost $100 million in salary cap room. He's got the fourth pick? I think it's fourth. And he's got a quarterback in Drake May. So it's an ideal situation. Now, I've heard two people in ESPN this morning saying they think the Patriots are going to make the playoffs. Well, how can you know? They haven't had a draft. They haven't had an off season. They forget Mike's last 2 years with the Titans and losing records. I'm not saying they can't do it. Everybody said Sean Payton couldn't do it, and he made the playoffs. And it just depends on the players you put around Drake May, and they need a lot of help there. But I think Mike will be in for the long haul, which means in the NFL, if he can make at least 5 years. And I'm happy for him. I know he did not want to get fired from Tennessee. He and his wife, Jen, they loved it in Nashville, as everybody does. And I wish him the best of luck and hope it works out. He's in a division where he'll have to overtake Buffalo or be a wild card. But I'm very happy for Mike Vrabel.
Looking at the other team that is in the state you're in, the Dallas Cowboys, Mike McCarthy and the Cowboys part ways. They can't come to an agreement on a contract extension, so now McCarthy's free to go elsewhere. There's Deion Sanders rumors with Dallas. What do you think Jerry ultimately does?
Well, I don't buy Deion at all. I think that's being hyped up to help him get more money in Colorado. And Jerry Jones has never paid a buyout. Deion's $8 or $9 million. People in the media know, I know up there have covered that team forever, say Jerry will not pay a buyout. And that's mainly media hype be done by ESPN, NFL Network, things like that. I think Mike McCarthy would have gone back if they could have worked out the contract. Jerry Jones wanted to take a short deal, which I'm guessing be like 3 years, and wanted him to put in a lot of incentives in there, and he didn't want to do it. I'm guessing McCarthy wanted a 5-year deal, like most of them got. D'Amico Ryan's got a 6-year deal here because every team that had an opening was interested in him. And Nick Caserio had been given a 6-year deal as general manager, who has in his contract, he has final say on everything. One of the things about Vrabel, he's working with Elliott Wolf, Ron Wolf's son, who came up under his dad at Green Bay, and he's had 2 or 3 jobs. Elliott's right-hand man is former Oilers running back, longtime scout, and longtime executive with the Packers, Alonzo Highsmith. So I know 3 times General Manager Rick Smith of the Texans tried to hire Alonzo Highsmith, who always kept his home in Houston, and Ted Thompson, Packers' late great GM, just told him, no, I know you want to go home, but I'm not letting you out of your contract. You're too valuable to me. And I think that will really help Mike Vrabel behind the scenes, having a guy like Alonzo Highsmith there. I think I was asked for a Talk of Fame column today about who I thought would be ideal for Jerry. Well, he could go for a former coach like he just did with McCarthy, or he could go for a coordinator. I think Kellen Moore, who spent 8 years with him, 3 as a player, 5 as a coach, Dak Prescott, they won 12 games 3 years in a row with Kellen Moore running the offense for Mike McCarthy. He left there. He went to the Chargers. This year he's with the Eagles, so he has experience working under other head coaches. He knows Jerry Jones. And more importantly, Jerry knows him. Problem with Dion, if just these rumors, it's the biggest story in the country. And as soon as Dion signed with the Cowboys, he'd be the star. We
Sure.
all know there's only one star at the star, and that ain't going to be a head coach.
That's a great way to put it. John McClain is joining the People Show, the Chase and Big Joe Show here today. John, my friend Dale Moles wanted me to ask you this question. The A.J. Brown reading the book on the sideline, he said in all your career, John, what's the one quirk of a player that you still remember from the Oilers days where they did something in game that was just really out there? Does anybody come to mind?
You mean besides one coach throwing a punch at another coach during a game? I saw a receiver, Haywood Jeffries, throw Gatorade in the face of offensive coordinator Kevin Gilbride on the sideline. Every once in a while, you'd see somebody eating something on the sideline. But I've never, in 48 years of covering the NFL or been watching football closely since I was a kid in 1960, seen a guy reading on the sideline. And don't you know that author? He's got to send a big Christmas gift to A.J. Brown because he jumped up to number one on Amazon's. To see, will he do it again? Will he not do it? Is he under pressure to do it? And because he said it had nothing to do with him being frustrated because he had one catch for like 10 yards. But man, I've never seen anybody get so much attention for reading a book.
We totally agree. And we covered AJ when he was here for the 3 years from 1920 to 21, and he was different, which is not bad. He was just in his own kind of world doing that. John, the Rams on Monday night, Chase made a good point. There was no way they were going to lose that game with all that was going on in Los Angeles. And I'm telling you, I think Sean McVay is a very underrated coach. Matthew Stafford's a very underrated quarterback. And I'm secretly, John, kind of rooting for the Rams now.
Well, I would beg to differ. Both of them are rated as great. I don't think they're underrated. McVay's been known as one of the greatest coaches since he went to the Super Bowl. Wade Phillips was a defensive coordinator. It was the best defense ever played against Brady and the Patriots. Boring as hell, and the Patriots won. Then he won a Super Bowl, and he's got a great coaching tree for somebody who's still so young. And Matthew Stafford, he won a Super Bowl when they traded for him, which worked out great. They've rebuilt in a hurry. They missed those picks for a long time because they traded them for veterans, but man, they've hit home runs in their defensive line in the last two drafts. And you saw a great example in that Monday night game when they had 9 sacks. Tell you what, I don't know that anybody wants to play the Rams right now because they got it going on and they were so motivated in that game. I hated to see them have to leave, but boy, the Michael Bidwell did more for the Rams than he's ever done for his Cardinals and sent planes. They had buses coming over from L.A., and they just did a fabulous job, and that is a dangerous team.
Yes, they are. We will have more with John McClain coming up next here on Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063, The Game. We're at the Renaissance Hotel today. Predators Golden Hall. But continuing our conversation with John McClain, HoustonTexans.com is where you can find his work. John, I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a little surprised your team's playing this weekend. I thought that, the Chargers were the better team going into that game, but I was very impressed with the way that the Texans played, especially in the second half, and now they have a date with the Chiefs.
I'm shocked. I picked the Chargers to win by 7, and I had not seen any indication this season Texans were capable of playing like that, in which all 3 phases contributed to what turned out to be a blowout. Defense held them in early. First five series for the offense were awful. 2 turnovers, 3 punts, and then that one great play that C.J. Stroud made. It's been all over the internet and on TV, in which the ball went through his hands. He wasn't looking for the snap. He chased it, picked it up, ran to the right. 3 Chargers on top of him for the last instant. Threw it down the field, 34-yard gain to Xavier Hutchinson. It totally transformed the offense. And from that point, they didn't let up. Justin Herbert, there were 2 things that surprised me. Number one, he threw 4 interceptions after throwing 3 during the season, but he also did not run for the first time this season, and he's a really good runner. They had a great defensive game plan that kept him bottled up, and the Texans committed 3 turnovers. You don't generally commit 3 turnovers in a playoff game and win the blowout, but now they go to Kansas City. They're better off going to Kansas City to play the top seed than they would have been playing Baltimore again, because Baltimore beat them 31-2 in the next to last regular season game. And since Lamar Jackson's been there, the Ravens are 5-0 against the Texans with an average victory margin of 18 points. So they go to Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes, it just blows me away. Every year since he's become the starter, that was 2018, he's 6-0 in those games. And in those games in which he's 6-0, he has 16 touchdowns, no interceptions, 70% completion percentage, and a 115 rating. And those games are all played at home. So the only thing I could see that the Texans would have a chance, and I think I'll pick the Chiefs by touchdown again, is if the long layoff could hurt. It's almost 3 weeks since those starters have played. And sometimes we saw this one year when the Colts were 14-2 under Tony Dungy, and he rested Peyton Manning, and his starters turned out to 3 weeks. They get in the playoff game. They're like the first preseason game. Dungy said he made a mistake doing 3 weeks. So that's the only way Texans would have a chance to win, unless the Chiefs had a massive team-wide case of food poisoning that didn't allow them to go to Arrowhead Stadium and they had to forfeit.
My goodness, John, Sunday, Bills, Ravens. Just saying that, I mean, that game should be an epic one with these 2 great football teams going head-to-head. I mean, this might be the best game of the weekend. Your thoughts on Bills and Ravens?
Oh, absolutely, Joe, the best game. That's why they have it on prime time. The ratings should be through the roof. The 2 great quarterbacks going to finish 1-2 in MVP. I'm guessing it'll be Lamar Jackson. It'd be weird to have your first-team All-Pro quarterback not get the MVP. And the people that vote on the MVP are the ones that put in first-team All-Pro quarterback. So Josh Allen ought to have a little chip on his shoulder. I picked Baltimore before the season, and I'm sticking with them. I thought I did last season. And they get to the AFC Championship game at home and lose to the Chiefs. So it's hard to win in Buffalo, but I'm going to stick with Buffalo and Kansas City playing again in the AFC Championship. I mean, Baltimore and Kansas City playing in the AFC Championship game again.
John, why should the Lions be scared of the Commanders?
I guess because with Jaden Daniels, he's like young and dumb and doesn't know what he doesn't know. He's fearless. They've won like their last 5 games at the end, and he's fearless. He's capable with his arm, with his legs. He's a cool, calm, and collected no matter what the situation is, and he's got a great receiver. Terry McLaurin, who's catching the ball all over the field. Now, I think Detroit will win the game. I think Detroit is getting healthy. The way Detroit beat up on Minnesota was so impressive, and I think they'll get after him. But what Daniels is doing reminds me of C.J. Stroud last year, but Stroud didn't win all these games right at the end. He won 3 like that, but not like Jaden Daniels. I can't wait to see that game too, although I think they all pale in comparison to Buffalo and Baltimore.
John, if Dan Campbell makes another boneheaded decision of a onside kick halfway through the game or a 2-point conversion that costs his team a victory, I know this is a hypothetical, what do you think the fallout is?
I think that he will get eviscerated. Now, he's not going to have an onside kick again. He admitted that was a mistake because you have to tell him you're going to do it. So what gets me is them going for 4th and 2 on his side of the field. And if they get stopped, then you're giving up the easy touchdown or field goal. And that happened to him last year. And he took a lot of criticism. And you'd think sometime you got to exercise common sense, and you don't want to be Dan Gamble. And that's his nickname. And people love it when it works. But, man, to think you lost a trip to go to the NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl because of calls like that, which happened last year, I think people would give him a hard time if he did. But I think he gambles way too much.
Real quick, John, before we let you go, Mike Tomlin, has gotten a lot of criticism, and some of it is warranted. I mean, they've had, 6 straight playoff losses. They ended the season on a losing streak. He had no response when he was asked questions about his job security. Should he be, and it's the Steelers. The Rooneys don't fire coaches. They've had 3 in the last, 70 years or what it seems like. But should he be worried going into next season? And maybe is it time for a change in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to do that. I think he needs to take a long look at his philosophy. Their defense wasn't as good in December and January as it had been traditionally. You could always count on a great defense. Offensively, they need to rethink what they're doing. He gets a lot of wide receivers, Antonio Brown, Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, who are not part of the culture. They're problem kids, and he'll take anybody. And sometimes you can't preach the culture to everybody else and rules and let one guy break it. And when Mike Munchak left the Steelers as the offensive line coach to go to Denver to be closer to his kids, their line has not been the same. If I'm Tomlin, I'm calling Mike in Denver, and I said, Mike, here's a blank check to come back. Just tell me what you want.
I'd love to see that because we love Mike Munchak for sure. John, always appreciate it. We will talk to you next week.
Guys, I look forward to it. Thank you very much. Enjoy the playoffs.
Absolutely. John McClain joins us every Wednesday at 9:30. And, of course, we'll get a full breakdown of divisional weekend with him coming up next week. Cool event going on at our title sponsor, the Omni Hotel.
Yeah, as always, you do once a month. It's a songwriter night called This Bar Could Talk, songs and stories from bar lines. It is absolutely free with some of the top songwriters in the city. Nikki Allen, Sarah Murray, Paige Penny, Ethan Snyder. Come on down tonight and hang out. It's free at Bar Line. Starts at 5 o'clock at the Omni Nashville Hotel. Always a fun event. So if you're looking for something to do tonight, there's where you need to go. It's going to be a lot of fun, too. We'll be down there tomorrow, and Friday is they reopen Kitchen Notes, right?
Yes. Looking forward to being there tomorrow and Friday. Today, we're just up the street at the Renaissance Hotel as they're getting ready for the Preds Golden Hall Luncheon. David Poyle, Pecorine, Shea Weber will all be here, and they're going to join us at some point, either in our show or at the beginning of DVD. But looking forward to that as we're live here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Hour number 2, Chase and Big Joe, 1025, 1063, the game here on this Wednesday. We are live at the Renaissance Hotel here in downtown Nashville. The Predators Golden Hall luncheon, the inaugural Golden Hall. Longtime general manager David Poile, longtime defenseman and captain Shea Weber, and longtime goaltender Pekka Rinne will be the inaugural class. They'll all be here and should be stopping by at some point. Taking your calls and your texts, 615-737-1025, our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. And JoJo, I've put on my Twitter or X account at ChaseOnGame, and we've retweeted it. Open-ended question. Who do you want to play quarterback for the Tennessee Titans next year? Because I think we're going to get a lot of different answers. Some are going to say Aaron Rodgers, even at 41 years old. They want to give him a chance for a couple of years. Some are going to say Kirk Cousins, who's probably going to be available and going to be released by the Atlanta Falcons. Some might say Derek Carr, who could be available, or he could go back to New Orleans. We'll see. Who else is out there? I don't think many are going to say Will Levis. Maybe some will, but I doubt it. Some are going to say Shedeur Sanders with the number 1 overall pick. Some are going to say Cam Ward with the number 1 overall pick. Some might say Dak Prescott in a trade with the Dallas Cowboys. And you brought something interesting up during the break. If Dak, this actually has some legs and he ends up in Nashville.
So Dak has a no trade clause.
Correct.
Right. So he's going to reach out to somebody he knows, played college football with. Well, he might have only like 1 year they crossed path, but Jeffrey Simmons.
Yeah.
What would Jeffrey Simmons say to Dak Prescott of why you should come here? Is Jeffrey? I mean, I know he posted stuff on Twitter about liking Vrabel and like they should go after Simmons. So what do you think Jeffrey Simmons tells Dak Prescott? Man, you don't want to come here.
No.
Or do you want to come here? Let's do this together. What do you think he tells him?
So I think that's a really interesting question because, there's the Jeffrey Simmons that we kind of see in the media and on social media, and, that gets a little too emotional on social media sometimes and things like that. But then there's the Jeffrey Simmons behind the scenes that I do think he likes playing here. I do think he likes Nashville. I think he'd said it. I think he would tell him straight. He'd be like, hey, look,
But what?
if I'm him, then I'm saying owner's a little quick triggered at times, but we got a good locker room. We got a good culture. We struggled last year, but Callahan seems like a good coach. I think you'd fit with him. His offensive mind and your offensive mind, I think, would gel well together. We got a young team, but we'll go get you some receivers. Ridley had a really good year in the second half. I think you guys would fit. NWI is a workhorse. You'd love a guy like that.
You think he'd go through all that?
I don't know. I mean, I'm answering your question the best I know how to do.
I think Dak says, I don't want to go. I want to stay here with Dion. You bring your son in, we can work together.
Yeah.
We'll figure something out. I'm not leaving Dallas to come to this train wreck of the Titans. If I'm still getting paid in Dallas, I'm not coming here. You have no chance of winning a Super Bowl with the Tennessee Titans in the foreseeable future. You have no chance. This football team is awful. They drafted awful. They signed terrible free agents. Stick with where you are, man. Have fun. Live there. Be where you are with the Cowboys. I would not come here.
Well, and look, if I'm in Dallas, probably the wise move is keeping Dak. And if you do trade up and you hire Dion, and Dion wants one of his quote unquote sons, you go get the one that's not actually his son, Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
And you put Travis on that team that, if you play him at corner, I mean, they got a loaded, defensive backfield
right.
that he could add to, and then he becomes an offensive weapon as well, and special teams. Dallas had a player like that at one point in time. I think his name was Deion Sanders,
Right.
actually. But I mean, that would be. I mean, can you imagine Dak with a Travis Hunter?
I'm telling you, I think Simmons ends up with the Patriots. I really do. I think Vrabel takes the world of that guy and knows that, look, I can plug him in the AFC East, put him in the middle. I can coach him. You heard Vrabel's comments about A.J. Brown, right? Yesterday on the radio show in Boston. about I mean, I love this kid. I could coach him. I'm basically saying,
Hey, let's go get him.
yeah, basically, yeah. Like I love him. I know I'm close. I'm very close with him. And so you want to get some of the guys you're back with. And look, Kraft be like, go ahead and do what you got to do. Give me you if you think you need him, get him. And I think if Simmons wants to go to New England, let him go. But look, if you go, Jeffrey, the Patriots, we're getting something back for you.
Oh,
Plus
100%.
Plus that's $19 million off the books.
Well, but here's the real question. Because you're thinking in football sense of this team needs to rebuild and all of that.
Right.
And so I think you're thinking logically. Titans fans, let me kind of paint a picture for you and see if
when you paint.
if you can handle this, because you just witnessed, and I heard Koharski mention this morning. You just witnessed Derrick Henry rush for 2,000 yards if you include the playoffs and the regular season. Even though you all think that the Titans ran him off and the Titans didn't try and re-sign him and all that stuff, it was time and Derrick was ready to leave. He was never coming back, and he would not have done that with this team. But let's just say that for a second. How could you handle Mike Vrabel winning a ton of games in New England with A.J. Brown and Jeffrey Simmons on the team, and Jeff Simmons becomes an all-pro D tackle or DN out wherever they put him, and A.J. continues to be the all-pro receiver? I think Titans fans would have a conniption.
Oh, that's a great point, man. That's really a great point. I think AJ Brown, I think a lot of people still see the knucklehead in him, which I don't, but I think a lot of people do. The reading the book on the sidelines is just weird. I think he's done that.
No, that's just him.
Being a smart ass.
Yeah, wanting attention.
Yeah, that's it. But I mean, I do think Simmons, man, that's tough. I think he's the Derrick Henry thing. Derrick Henry knowing he won't go to the Super Bowl here. They let him go. It's amicable. He goes to Baltimore. I don't think Simmons, if the Titans are smart and he shows interest, go do whatever. I think here's my thing, Chase. Once you're gone from here, I don't care.
Yeah.
Because you didn't do it
But
here.
Titans fans do.
But you didn't. There's a pocket that do that, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I mean, if you're gonna go, give me something back.
There is a pocket of this fan base, and I'm sure it's like this in every fan base, but I only know this one, that if a guy leaves, they spend all their time and energy talking about them coming back or when they were here. And it's just like, yeah, AJ was a great player. He's not here anymore.
No, you're
Derrick
right.
Henry was a great player, and he will be honored as a Titan and will be in the Ring of Honor and all that stuff and have his number retired because he's going to the Hall of Fame.
Right.
Like he will get all those accolades that you can relive those good old days, but he's gone. And it's just like, just move on.
Did you see the list of all the ex-Titans players that are in the playoffs? Somebody put it out there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a ton of them. You could make a starting lineup almost for all these guys.
AJ, Derrick. Those are the big ones.
Well, I mean, you have other guys. I mean, like
there were guys with the Chargers.
What's the Urban guy? Brett Urban was here for a while. Yeah. I mean, he's still with the Ravens and playing. I mean, they're all and the Texans got. Is it?
They have
3 or 4 guys.
Yep,
right.
Nico Autry and Azeez Al-Shaair, and
so it just you're used to it by now.
Yeah,
the guys go. I got used to it when Derek and Samari roll when McNair went to the Ravens.
Look,
it's like
it's just it sucks, but it's football. That's
although Drew Bennett was terrible with the Rams. He signed that huge free agent contract.
He got hurt.
One of the worst contracts in NFL in a long time, but he got paid, got his money. But no, I think if once you go, you go. But then you come back to do you have trust in Chad Brinker? Do you have trust in Chad Brinker can go out there, evaluate players, and put it all together?
So Josh says something interesting. Pats get Simmons, Titans get their first this year. That's the 4th pick. I'd love that, but then I'd be raising hell up in Boston if they did that. And Vrabel's going to have some say. So if Vrabel trades the 4th overall pick for Jeffrey Simmons straight up, he's going to have some explaining to do.
Vrabel is going after, at number 4, that dude from Penn State.
Oh, yeah. I just blanked on his name.
Abdul Carter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
He's a little short.
Yeah.
Okay, he's not the LT
But
6'4",
that's a
245.
that's a Vrabel guy.
It's all the Vrabel guy.
That's a Vrabel guy.
And I'm telling you, we've talked about this. It's football is cyclical. Now it's the pass rush. It's about the pass rush because you've seen it in all these games because now they're going back passing more and more. A vicious pass rush could devastate things. Vrabel sees, all right, I get this guy. I get another bookend. And we concentrate on rushing the passer. That's our main thing in that AFC East. Josh Allen, Tua, whoever the Jets plug in there. Remember, you just got to be better than those three teams.
Yeah.
That's the thing about the Titans. You just got to be better than the Colts, the Texans, and the Jets. That's it. That's how you get in the playoffs. Be better than those three teams. But I think Vrabel keeps that 4 pick. That'd be great if you're the Titans and you could get the number 4 pick from the Patriots and you got 1 and 4. Heck yeah, you do all that. Ain't gonna happen though.
Yeah, 615-737-1025. That's our phone and text line driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com. We'll get to more of your texts and calls coming up next because you're all weighing in on this. I think we've struck a chord with some of these what ifs that we have thrown out there. Tomorrow, it's your chance to participate in Preds Pick to Click. If you correctly guess a Preds player that scores a goal in the Preds game tomorrow night, you'll win a pair of tickets to an upcoming home game. You can participate with Robbie and Rexroad tomorrow morning at 8:45. Also, don't forget tonight is Smashville Live at Brewhouse South in Cool Springs starting at 6 o'clock. You can see player guests Jeremy Lozon and Cole Smith at Brewhouse South in Cool Springs. It's Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063, the game presented by the Omni Nashville Hotel on this Wednesday. Dr. Crane is back at the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. All right, so I have a question. You
Yeah,
know, like
buddy.
last year, I guess it was the 25th anniversary of the Titans, and you know, I know a lot of people put together kind of their all Titans team. And if you think about it right now of who would be on that all Titans team, to me, there are only one player that's a lock, another one that I'm pretty close to a lock in the last 5 years that you could put in that conversation. Derrick Henry and Kevin Byard, in my opinion.
On the
Like your all-time team. Like if you're talking about just the Titans, not including the Oilers.
so since 99, basically. Okay.
Yeah. And you know, maybe if you want to include 97, 98 when
Not
they
really.
got to Tennessee. But the all-time greats. Like with running backs, I would have Derek, Eddie, and Chris Johnson.
Sure.
Those three. You know, safeties, you know, Blaine's obviously in there. But I'd put Byard. I would definitely say Byard. You can make an argument at receiver for AJ, but he just wasn't here very long.
Oh, I absolutely put him on the list.
yeah. I mean,
He
'cause they
showed
haven't-
me in 3 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's fair. So, but my point is, you just don't have a lot of those guys that you're talking about with this team, and that's been the big problem.
So do you put Simmons on that team? I mean, he got a monster contract because
Yeah.
he's one that they consider him the top defensive lineman. But I don't.
Okay, so who is
Albert,
Albert,
Van
Van
den Bosch.
Bosch.
You can laugh. Tony Brown should be on that team.
Yeah,
Tony Brown was- but was
Casey. You put Casey.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Tony Brown. Hold on, let me be back on Tony Brown was good because Hainsworth was great.
Yeah, Curse.
Oh, absolutely. Put Javon Curse on there. But I don't know how deep can you go with this because I mean Casey belongs on there. Do you have to be drafted by the team?
No, not
Okay.
necessarily.
All right.
I mean, Van den Bosch wasn't.
True. It's a good point, man. That's a great question. Who from the last 5 years would you plug in? AJ, Derek. Oh, Derek drafted in 16.
Well, and here's the other. You probably put Tannehill because you haven't had great quarterbacks.
if you go too deep, absolutely. I think you have to go too deep.
yeah.
I mean, so yeah, you'd put Tannehill in there. McNair, obviously. The
If
running back part
you
of that.
have a third, I'd probably say Vince.
Are we missing Vince? Boy,
I mean, like think about that.
I'd go Volek.
Or
Isn't that crazy?
or
Or
Collins, Kerry Collins.
Kerry Collins.
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, Vince had that one really good year. But that's the problem, dude. Like that's the problem with
All right.
the quarterback play. Like, I mean, Tannehill's the second best quarterback in the Titans era,
He is.
and there's no question about there's no question to that.
I feel like we're leaving a defensive lineman out. I'm trying to wreck my brain from the 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 teams.
Oh well,
Casey was there.
Derek Morgan.
No,
Yeah.
I think he was just average. He was an average player. I'm trying to think.
I think you're like, who are we missing?
Jarrell was no doubt, especially when we wanted to fight Josh Wolf, the reporter from the Tennessee. That was good.
All right. Let's see.
Arakpo was a linebacker. He was
Yeah.
he was good, wasn't great.
Jason Babin. He had one good year.
I
Carl
hate Jason
Klug?
Babin. Nope. I hate Jason Babin because he stole my Dove bar on the team charter. True story.
Denico Autry?
No,
I don't think I'd put him all time.
no.
Dave Ball was good, but I wouldn't put him all time.
He's crazy. He scored that touchdown against the Lions on Thanksgiving Day and did that dance, which set white people back 30 years from dancing in nightclubs. It was terrible.
Oh, we are missing one. We're missing a big one. Kevin Carter.
that's a
He's
tough one for
pretty.
me.
He wasn't here long, but he was pretty good.
Here's 01 to 04. Is that correct?
Yep.
Man, I don't know. I'm trying to think more like 12, 13 through 17 or 18. I feel like we're forgetting somebody. This is sad. I'm so sorry. I should know more than
Yeah,
this.
a lot of people are saying Samari Roll. Do you have Taylor Lewan?
No.
I mean, to me,
He was not better than Hopkins. He was not better than Roos.
Yeah.
So no.
he'd be third.
Did be third.
Yeah.
Plus he missed 2 seasons of his
Now
9 years.
you can play the. You just have tackles. You don't designate left or right,
right.
and he would be in that group. Because if you have,
I'd put Conklin in the group. I like Conklin.
Yeah.
I like David Stewart. I mean,
David Stewart's in it. John Runyon's probably in it.
he was only here. He
Wasn't
left.
here long. Who
yeah.
who took over for him when Runyon? Fred Miller.
Fred Miller.
You
False
put
start
Fred?
Fred. Yeah. I mean, it's a great debate. I mean, weren't you on the? Didn't the Titans ask you to do that?
Yeah, I felt I didn't go back and see if I can find it. What I had
Because it was like 4 linebackers, 5 defensive linemen. I mean, they had a strict who was going to put in there. But I mean, the
I
point
never
is,
saw them do anything with that either. They may
I
have.
never did either. I mean, you could plug. Maybe you plug Simmons in. I don't. He's got so much potential, and he can be so devastating in the inside. But again, I tell you this: we get lost in the fact of like, well, he's only got 3 sacks. That's not his job. His job is not to sack the pass. I mean, if you get back there, that's great. A defensive lineman's job is to keep the offensive lineman off your linebackers to make plays. Now, if you create some disruption in there like him and Sweat did, which could be a fearsome twosome in this league if they put it together. But I don't know. I'm a Simmons fan. I admit it. I think he's got so much. He could be so devastating when he plays. I've seen it. I've also seen him take plays off. So I'm kind of stuck in between. But if I have to go with him, I'd probably put him on there.
Simmons.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's interesting, and so with this discussion, we've kind of talked ourselves into a couple of these guys, but you go back in those early days. Is Nick Barnowski just knocking stuff over?
What's
here?
going
I
on
don't
over
know.
there?
Come on, guys.
We got an award-winning show we're putting together here.
As you think about it in the early days, it's like there were no-brainers, and that's just not the case nowadays.
I think, you want your number 1 guys to make that list. Kenny Britt in 09 doesn't make it. Chris Johnson 08 does. 10, Derek Morgan doesn't make it. 11, Jake Locker doesn't make it. 12 was Kendall Wright. Does he make it? No. 13, Chance Warmack.
No.
14, Lewan is a backup. 15, Mariota.
No.
16, I like Conklin. I'm a big Jack Conklin fan. 17,
I would say like you go and you do the mess ups of John Robinson. Him not re-signing him was, I'd say that goes on there.
Yeah. All right. So do you do at Adoree Jackson was backup? I mean, not backup. The second pick in the first round. Sorry,
he's not
backup. 18, Rashaan Evans. What a terrible pick. 19 was Simmons and Brown.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's tough because 20 Isaiah Wilson, 21 Caleb Farley, 22 Traylon Burks.
Somebody said Wesley Woodyard. I'd say special teams.
Nope. He cost them the Jacksonville game with his penalty that one year and bounced them out of the playoffs. I wouldn't put Wesley Woodyard on there.
Of course. Okay. Somebody said Derek Mason. Y'all gonna get in trouble. Of course, Derek's on it. There's no doubt.
As a returner? Yeah.
No, as
receiver returner.
Yeah.
Derek makes it twice.
Okay. So I would say punt returner Derek Mason, kick returner Pac-Man.
I'm not putting Pac-Man on there. I'm not. Can't stand him.
Well,
can't stand him. Hurt the team. Everything. Yeah, he was great when he went to the Bengals, but I'll take Derek Mason over Pac-Man.
Somebody goes elite wide receiver room: Moss, Jones, and Hopkins.
Well, you're right.
Yeah, that's true. If you're going on the all-name team, look, if you're going on the all-name team,
yeah,
that's a loaded receiver room because you got what's his name from the Texans too?
Andre Johnson.
Andre Johnson.
But remember, for a while when guys left here, they didn't do much when they left.
Right.
Like, to me, the biggest
now it's
name
the opposite.
to me, the biggest name that did well, and you're going to laugh at this, John Thornton.
Yeah.
Went to the Bengals,
Cincinnati.
and had a great career with the Bengals. And one of those that they kind of regret leaving, let go. So, yeah, now it's quite the opposite.
Yeah. Keith Bullock, somebody just said. Of course, Keith Bullock's on.
Oh, yes.
No question. Tight ends. Frankie's number one. Delaney number two.
Yeah. Yep, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
Jonnu showed flashes.
Aaron Kinney showed flashes.
Yep, I'm thinking Bracken, Bo
If you got three, I'd probably go Frank, Delaney, and Aaron Kinney.
You know, they franchise tagged Bo Scaife one year.
They did.
I think it was 08 or 09, whenever it was.
Ben Troop.
Vin Troop. My favorite all-time lines was our good friend Greg Pogue. It was the 10th or 11th game of the season, and Ben Troop caught his first pass of the year. And Pogue says in the press box, "Hey, everybody, Ben Troop has caught one more pass than I have this year for the Titans." And the entire press box just erupted in laughter.
Okay,
So,
right now you get 6 receivers all time. Who are they?
Titans?
Yep.
Oh, my gosh. 6?
6.
AJ, Derek Mason,
Drew
Bennett. I really liked Justin Gage when he was here. I think he performed and did everything he was asked of him.
Dyson?
Dyson. He had 2 big things for this team. I'm tough on that one. I'm going to say no. Get
Okay.
injured, and so I need to see more.
But you need 6.
There's no way. That's sad. Who was on the 19? Okay, AJ. Who was the other receiver on the other side from AJ in 19?
Corey Davis.
No, I'm not putting him on there. That's sad.
He never had 1,000 yards.
I can't name 6 receivers to put on this Titans team since they've been here. I got 4.
Do you squeeze NWI on that list, Joe?
No,
Look, he's working his way onto it just because
not
who
yet.
he is. Nate Washington. I put Nate Washington on that list.
He's
He's pretty
came
good.
in at a good time.
Yeah.
Had that
Thank
big
you, Texas.
game-winning catch.
Bunch of everybody's saying Nate Washington. You got to
Okay.
put yeah.
He had that game-winning catch in 12 versus the Bills. I remember that.
I mean, I am if you're going 6, I'm putting Dyson. Like you, otherwise you're not going to have anybody.
It's okay. I
Brandon
guess.
Jones,
No.
Tyrone Calico, Justin McCarrons,
Oh.
Chris.
No, I mean, Chris was great.
Yeah.
95, 96, and 97, but I'm talking from 99 on, no.
D-Hop, one good year.
No. We're reaching now. When you start reaching now, no.
Right. Well, I mean, again, you've made the point for me.
Our friend Nick Barris says Eddie Berlin, Yancey Thigpen, Carl Pickens, David Gibbons. Oh, shut it, Nick.
Carl Pickens. Don't forget Yancey.
Oh, Yancey. My goodness.
Got to have Yancey on there. Just kidding. 615-737-1025. I know you're going to have comments on this next read. Tune in to 94.9 The Fan tonight as Vanderbilt men's basketball is in action. They take on South Carolina at Memorial Gym. 5 o'clock tip-off, pregame starting at 4:30. Coverage is also available on the Game Nashville app and theGameNashville.com. Vandy men's basketball is presented by Athletes Unlimited Pro Basketball, coming to Nashville Municipal Auditorium February 5th through March 2nd. Go to auprobasketball.com for more details and to purchase tickets.
What time's the game again?
5 o'clock.
I got something to say about this.
All right. We will let you have your moment. Coming up next, Chasing Big Joe live at the Renaissance Hotel, 1025, 1063 The Game. Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3, the game on this Wednesday. We're at the Renaissance Hotel, the Preds Golden Hall. Luncheon taking place today. Just talked to JP Dumont as he came through, and you just said the loudest moment, in your opinion, in Bridgestone Arena history involved him.
I'm telling you, man, when he scored that shorthanded goal in the 2007 playoffs versus San Jose, and it was an amazing moment in Nashville Predators history, an amazing moment at Bridgestone, and that place just erupted. The second loudest was when Mike Fisher scored the overtime goal at 5 o'clock in the morning, whenever time
Also
that
against
was.
San Jose.
That's right. Also, but the JP moment was because remember we would come up the lockout, and they made. I know the Sharks won the playoffs, won that series, but it was a moment. And JP was telling us that Shea Weber was on the ice for that too. And for those who remember that moment, I mean Bridgestone, I thought the top was going to come off, and that was before Facebook and Twitter and all that other stuff, and it was just.
Those were the early days.
A moment I'll never
but that
forget.
that was a team that got everybody's attention, and that was the first time that Craig Leopold was owning the team. Then basically told David Poile, go for it, and that was the year they traded for Peter Forsberg and a lot of other things.
Well, I think,
unfortunately, it didn't work. But
right, the signing of Paul Kariya,
yep,
a top free agent. Put Nashville, at least in my ignorant, dumb opinion, put Nashville Predators hockey on the map because people are like, "Whoa, wait, why is he going there? He's getting paid, but he can get paid a lot of other places. Why is he going to Nashville?" I mean, that was a 7, 8, 9, 10. That was a fun time.
Yeah, and look, JP is a very underrated signing that David Poile made, and made a lot of impact here. Now, I know you have comments on, and it's not directed at Vanderbilt. It's probably directed at the SEC because they're the ones that did this. But a 5 o'clock tip tonight at Memorial Gym.
So Vanderbilt basketball plays South Carolina Memorial Gym at 5 p.m. on a Wednesday. I'm okay with it on a Saturday or Sunday.
Yep.
So I am Joe Dubin. I got 2 kids, and I'm a big Vanderbilt basketball fan. I get off work early at 4 o'clock. I pick my kids up, say they're 12 and 10, get your homework done, eat your dinner, hit the door at 6:15, get to Memorial Gym at 6:45, good to go. You do that tonight, you have missed the game. It's starting at 5 p.m. on a Wednesday. How asinine is this? How stupid is this? And people are like, well, nobody's going to Vanderbilt games anymore. Really? Because it's starting at 5 o'clock. Stop doing this. I know TV drives so much now, but at some point say, you know what? We're not doing this. It's not good for our fan base to start a game at 5 o'clock on a Wednesday. Have you been down West End at 4 o'clock on a work day?
Yeah.
All right, and you live in Goodlettsville or Mount Juliet, and you're trying to get your kids and go to Vanderbilt. I'm not going. You just lost fans, and it's not Vanderbilt's fault. I get it.
But you know what you do?
5 p.m.
I got a solution for you.
Yeah.
You listen starting at 4:30 on 94.9 The Fan.
You can do that.
That's what you do.
That's exactly what you do. 94.9 The Fan at 4:30. But if you're going to the game, by the time you normally would get there, the game's over. The game is over. How stupid of television to do that. Let me ask you this. Would you, not you, sir, but walking there. How would you,
he was like, what?
Would you make Kentucky basketball start at 5? I know they're Eastern time.
Yeah.
So it's 4 o'clock here. You wouldn't do that to Kentucky basketball.
No.
You wouldn't do it. So tonight, the Vanderbilt's got a game at 5 is just absolutely awful. And I blame you, SEC.
So what would be an ideal weeknight start?
7.
7.
7's, that's what we grew up on.
6:30 's too early.
7.
7.
You have multiple channels now to put games on.
Yep.
Multiple channels to do all this. A game should start at 7 o'clock. Even 6 o'clock is a tad too early. I'm telling you, to go home when I had my kids and they were young and to get them fed and get homework done and out the door, I mean, you're barely making it at 6:45, barely making it. Tonight, you're not going. The kids are not going to go see South Carolina tonight because of what the start time at 5 o'clock. It's sad. It's really sad.
Yep. I agree. I agree with you. and it's on the networks and in the conference, and they got to fix that.
Yep.
Because I think it helps build the. Yeah, thank you. By the way, the Predators have announced something really, really cool, and we're gonna be giving this away later in the week. But Keith Urban, it's his bobblehead night on Saturday at the game, so you can be a part of that. The first, I guess I should read this. The first 10,000 fans will get a Keith Urban bobblehead, but there's more.
Uh-oh.
Keith Urban's going to be there. He's going to sing the national anthem, and then he's going to perform on the band stage. So if you want to go see Keith Urban, get some tickets to the Preds game Saturday night at Bridgestone Arena against the Minnesota Wild, and go check it out, and you can see Keith Urban. I wonder if Nicole will be there too. I would assume so.
Probably, yeah.
You know?
Get you a little.
You know what's cool about them? That they have truly embraced Nashville.
Mhm.
They have made Nashville home.
They
And
have.
I think that is really, really cool.
Well, I mean, this is where his dreams came true.
Yeah.
I remember seeing Urban at Keith Urban opened for Phil Vassar at Hermitage Landing
Wow.
in 1995 or 6 back then. So yeah,
He's a hell of a guitar player too.
he's not bad.
He can do some picking and grinning.
Keith
man.
Urban and the Ranch
Yeah, that's
from
right.
them back in the good old days. But yeah, so yeah, that's great. I mean, they love Nashville. I think it's great. Saw them at a Starbucks in Green Hills one time. But yeah, years
Did
ago.
you say hi?
Of course not.
Did you say, Nicole, I loved you in Days of Thunder? Because I would have.
He said hi to me.
Oh,
He's like,
yeah.
I know you. I said, you better just keep on walking. I don't talk before I get my coffee, Keith.
Was married to someone famous.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of, I wonder if Mike will be here today. I would assume he would be.
Why don't you call and ask him?
You call him. You got him on speed dial.
I do have him on speed dial. I'll call him up. Say, what are you doing?
Coming up next, we might have a guest, but we'll tell you what day it is and celebrity birthdays as well. We're live at the Renaissance Hotel for the Predators Golden Hall Luncheon. It's Chase and Big Joe, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Chasing Big Joe, 1025, 1063 the game at the Renaissance Hotel. The Predators Golden Hall Luncheon going to get underway in a little less than an hour. David Poyle, Shea Weber, Pecorine, and they will all be here. And we'll probably have to steal a little time from DVD, but they will join us here in just a little bit once they arrive. But right now, and by the way, people appreciated your rant, your 5 o'clock start rant.
Thank you.
So that was good. But with that, let's get to what day is it and celebrity birthdays.
All right, gentlemen. First on the list, we have Humanitarian Day. So it's always
That's
good
good.
to celebrate that. Museum Selfie Day. So if you go to a museum, take a little selfie.
Good. Good.
National Bagel Day is next. Like a good-
Really?
yeah, National
some
Bagel
bagels.
Oh,
Day.
man.
This one I'm gonna, I guess, not abbreviate, but just give a different name for it. National Kombucha Day. The term that's used is not appropriate for radio. So
Oh, that's good. I'm glad you
National
actually
Kombucha
read
Day.
that.
Yep,
Is that a drink?
it is a drink. It's fermented tea. That is correct.
Fermented tea. I'll
Yep.
pass.
Yep. National Freshly Squeezed Juice Day. So pick a freshly squeezed juice of your choice.
All
I
right.
mean, some people like orange, some people like lemon.
All right.
Carrying on. National Hat Day. You go to the Kentucky Derby for that stuff.
Right.
National Pothole Day, celebrated in the United
Oh.
Kingdom.
Why do we celebrate those?
It's a great question.
We got some new ones that made an
Right.
appearance after last weekend.
Some people go for those as kiddie pools. I don't know. National Strawberry Ice Cream Day. Good old
Okay.
strawberry ice cream.
Yeah, I like that.
And
That's
to
good.
wrap it up, we have Wikipedia Day. So go search something on Wikipedia.
Oh, okay. Look at Peter.
and everything there is correct and factual.
You're right. And you
Top-notch
also,
stuff.
have you ever taken a museum selfie? I took one with the Mona Lisa one time, except it wasn't the Mona Lisa. All right, time for celebrity birthdays. You got to get these within
Was that
two.
funny in your head?
It was.
Okay.
It was.
I'm glad.
Because I was going to say something else. I was like, yeah, I really like my job. Don't get fired. All right, celebrity birthdays. Here we go. First birthday today, actor, director Mario Van Peebles. How old is Mario? Wasn't he in New Jack City with Judd Nelson? I think he was.
62.
70.
68. Dr. Crane's on the board with one. All right. Chad Lowe, Rob Lowe's brother. How old is Chad Lowe?
Older or younger brother?
Chad Lowe.
I tried. 57.
48.
57 exactly.
Boom.
Imagine being Chad Lowe. I mean, Rob Lowe is one of
Yeah.
the best looking men of all time.
Yeah.
Chad's not.
Yeah.
All right. It's kind of like this show. All right. Let's keep it on down here a little bit. Actress Regina King. Hey, we're doing a show, pal.
Regina King. Sean Henry is here. We love Sean. 48.
53.
54. We're tied at 2. I like this.
What?
Regina King. Pitbull. How old is Pitbull?
Armando. I'm gonna say he is 53.
55.
44.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Come on down a little bit more here. So we're tied at 2. Get down to the bottom here. Let's see here. Lead guitar player of Tool, Adam Jones. Not Adam Pac-Man Jones, but Adam Jones.
48.
47.
60.
60.
Got
He's
close
60.
on that one.
Wow.
This is a really electronic dance musician, Skillrix. Skrillex. EDM musician. Oh, that's
Yeah.
redundant. EDM Skrillex.
40.
38.
37. Dr. Crane's up
Ooh.
3-2. All right, we got 4 more. We're tied. Nick's up 3-2.
Are these sports?
Yes, these are
This
sports
is where
guys.
Sean's gonna
Okay.
run away with it.
Dallas Cowboy legend Randy White.
Uh,
Legend. Played at Maryland.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. 72.
76.
72 exactly.
Get up here.
4-3. Chase, you're back on top. Former Montreal Expo player, baseball player, Delano DeShields.
65.
68.
56.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Former Vanderbilt safety Corey Chavis, who put Peyton Manning in his place in college. Corey Chavis,
53.
57.
49.
Oh.
We are down to our last birthday. Chase is up 4-3. So, Dr. Crane, you can steal and win this game. Our last birthday. How old is Super Bowl winning quarterback who I hear lives down in Franklin? Drew Brees.
Oh, really?
I hear he's got a place down in Franklin. Drew Brees.
46.
44.
And this is good. He is 46. Chase McCabe brings it home. 6-3. Chase, you've
Boom.
won twice this week.
Well
Thank
done.
you. That was
Yeah.
good.
Take it out of there.
That was good. We appreciate the Preds and the Renaissance Hotel for having us here today. I just saw David Poyle, who walked in. Former Preds defenseman Kevin Klein is here. Cody Franson, JP Dumont, see a few others. DJ Bobby Nye just walked in. Eric Nystrom. So a lot of old
Yeah, this is pretty
alums
cool, right?
are here for this awesome event. Cliff Ronning, one of them as well. Stick around, DVD coming up next, and we'll have some of these guys join us. Really looking forward to that.
We do. As we close every show up, my friends out there, to our guys that are struggling, know that we love you. And on your cell phone, you can dial 988 or you can text 988. If you need to talk to somebody, please reach out to us. We're here all the time for you. We love talking to you in 2024. We'll continue in 2025. We're all in this together. We are all in this together, and we, more than anything else, know that we love you. And more importantly, God loves you. Your journey is a beautiful journey, and it's your journey, and we're here with you. So please reach out if you need us. We love you guys.
That's going to do it for us. DVD coming up next. 102.5, 106.3, The Game.